Hey guys, how's it going? Narwhal here, back again, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do a Champions League preview show, talking about the likes of the Barcelona Paris Saint-Germain game, the Arsenal against Bayern Munich game, and Real Madrid against Napoli. So, we'll start off with the Barcelona game. So, Barcelona are going to be taking on Paris Saint-Germain and the Camp Nou, and Barcelona have an uphill battle to face right now. They got absolutely hammered in Paris, the likes of Di Maria, Draxler, and Cavani tearing them a new one, and they were just horrible. Their midfield was inexistent. Messi just looked terrible. He was just garbage. Suarez was horrible. Neymar was the only player who put in a proper performance, and PSG, rightly so, deserved to win. And they could have scored more. They could have scored 7 or 8 goals against Barcelona. It was an absolute hammering. And if Barcelona don't pick up the slack in the Camp Nou, then they're just going to get knocked out. It's plain and simple. Now, do I think they have a chance to win? Yes. With the likes of Neymar, Suarez, and Messi, any team has a chance to win. Now, will they win the game? I do think they will. They have the players to win the game. I think that they'll win, but I don't think that they're going to do a 4-0. I think they'll be maybe a 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, something like that. But with the likes of Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, anything's possible. You can always, if all three of those players put in the performance of their life, then they have a chance to come back and make it 4-0, or maybe even 5. Any team has a chance to win like that. You see Germany against Brazil in the World Cup when Germany smacked Brazil 7-1. And it was 5-1 by the end of the first half. So what do Barcelona need to do to win this game? Well, first off, they need to start off with a very solid defense. They can't afford to give up stupid goals. Their midfield needs to step it up. They can't afford to give away, they can't give away the possessions just like that. They have to pass the ball around, keep possession like they normally do. And the most important thing, they need an early goal. They need right off the bat a good goal, first 5-10 minutes, and then that'll set the tone for them. If they could score at least 2 goals in the first half, then they have a chance to win the game 4-0. If the first half finishes at 1-0, then they have a massive battle to come back into the game and to win it 4-0. Now, Paris. If Paris score 1 goal in this game, the tie's done. Game over. Everyone can go home. The tie's done. Because if Paris score 1 goal, Barcelona needs 6 goals to win the tie. And even 4 goals is stretching it, but 6 goals is just beyond gone. So if Paris score 1 goal, this game is done. So Barcelona need to tighten up defensively. They cannot afford to give away stupid goals like they did in the reverse tie in Paris. And you just need the big name players to show up. Now, is it impossible? No. Is it possible? Yes. Is it unlikely? Very much so. I think Paris will end up winning this game. Will end up winning the tie. Barcelona probably will win the game, but they are most definitely out of the Champions League by now. Now, the next game we're going to look at is the Arsenal against Bayern Munich game, and this tie is just done. Bayern absolutely thrashed Arsenal in the reverse leg. It was just men against boys, really. There was absolutely nothing Arsenal could do. They started off the game poorly. What Coquelin was doing, showing Robin onto his left foot at the edge of the box, beyond me. Everyone knows what Robin's going to try to do. All of his goals that he scores, they're all the same. It's cut in from the wing, take a shot with the left foot, top corner. There, it's done. Now, Arsenal came back in the game. They played well for the end of the first half, even when they got the penalty. After they scored the penalty, well, kind of the penalty, Sanchez missed the first 2 shots, but he scored the third. But after they scored that, Arsenal picked up their game. They started playing very well, but they're too naive. A 1-1 is a very good draw to get in Munich. I would have taken that any day of the week, but Arsenal got greedy. They pushed forward. They kept playing like they would normally play against the Watford, against Leicester, against those quote-unquote weaker teams, and they just gave away stupid goals. They could have lost that game even 8-9. It could have gone double digits, really. It was just a terrible performance. If Ospina wasn't there, this game would just be a total massacre, and it still was, but it would have been even worse. Now, Arsenal, if they play a team that is not their reserves or the players that don't get much of a look in, I would be shocked, and they would just be wasting those players' fitness for nothing. I think that this tie is done. If Wenger decides to play a good team, as Paris almost score, if he decides to play a good team, then it's just a waste of time for them. I think Sanchez will play because he makes a fuss if he does every time he doesn't play, but That's up to the management. I wouldn't play him. I would just play a bunch of reserves, Maitland-Niles and all those players. Just give them a chance in the Champions League, get themselves some appearance, some game time. And yeah, this game's just done. Problem with Arsenal is really the ownership there. It's everyone's just content with finishing fourth. As long as the checklist before the season ends is finish fourth. That's it. Anything other than finish fourth is just a bonus. Now, I'm not saying the Arsenal fans think that way. Now, if you look at Arsenal Fan TV, I'm pretty sure Ty thinks that way. He is very, very content with just finishing fourth. It's just daisies and roses at the club for him. But I think the likes of, uh, well, everyone else really, all the other fans just cannot stand finishing fourth every year. I think that Arsenal, with the amount of money that they've spent, with the players that they've got, it you can no longer look at the players and say, oh, well, we're not finishing higher than that because we just don't have the players. They do have the players. They have the squad. They have squad depth for the first time in years, but they're just not doing anything with it. I think that the management is poor, and it's just as long as we get fourth, that's the check mark. Anything other than that is a bonus. And if they just keep going in that vein of thought, they're never going to get any better. The reason why they stick with Wenger is because he gets them top four. That's where the money is. As long as he keeps finishing top four, he's going to keep bringing the owners the money, and they're going to be content. The owners would give him a contract right now if it wasn't for the fans, really. So, I guarantee you, at the end of the season, if Wenger finishes in fourth, he will get another contract. Now, it's going to be hard with the likes of Manchester United, Manchester City, and Liverpool knocking on the door for the fourth place spots, but it's still doable. Arsenal are still in the league over them, but it's going to be difficult. They really need to put in a performance. I'm looking at the likes of Mesut Ozil. All of the entire squad of Arsenal, there are no world-class players except for Alexis Sanchez. He is the only player that you can look at and say he can make a difference in any team he plays in. He is the only player who could do that. Mesut Ozil, when he was at Real Madrid, he was probably one of the best midfielders in the world. If it wasn't for Xavi and Iniesta playing at the time, he would be probably the best midfielder in the world at the time. But it takes a manager to really give him a kick up the ass to get him to work. But Wenger just wants him to sign a new contract, so I guess he's being very delicate with him. Because if I have a player who's not performing at all, giving not even 50% of his ability in a game, and not giving any effort, he's sitting on the bench. I won't start him whatsoever. Arsenal have a ton of attacking mids at the club. They have, way too many attacking mids at the club. So how Ozil is still getting game time when he's putting in performances like he did against Bayern or against Watford or against any team recently. For the past 3 months, he hasn't performed. He's been missing. Like even Mahrez would be performing better than he is at the moment, and Mahrez has been shit the whole season. So Arsenal just need new management, really. Like, maybe if this season doesn't go well for Jurgen Klopp would be brilliant. He ships off the likes of Ozil because I don't think he is a good fit for English football anymore. I think that he's gotten lazy and too comfortable. I think he just needs to find a new club. And yeah, Arsenal just definitely need new management. There is no way that they could keep going with this management if they just keep getting happy with finishing fourth. You can't celebrate every time you finish fourth. It's just not right, really. Next game is the Real Madrid against Napoli game, and this game in the first leg finished 3-1 for Real Madrid, and Real Madrid do have a lot of problems at the back. Their defense and their goalkeeper situation is terrible. Ramos hasn't been in good form recently. He's been Real Madrid's best defender, other than Marcelo, but he's just not been performing at the highest level like he normally does. Varane against Valencia, he was absolutely terrible. He gave away 2 sloppy touches, which led to the opposition scoring the goals. Navas in that game was even worse. He hasn't had a good game for Real Madrid in a long time. Sure, he makes the odd save here or there, but he just hasn't performed for Real in a very long time. I think that Kiko Casillas should start against Napoli in the next game. I think that if Navas is trying to stake claim to tell Real Madrid owners that they don't need another goalie, that they don't need De Gea or Courtois or Lloris because they have him, then he's having a laugh if he thinks he could get away with that as this game goes to halftime 0-0. But yeah, he's having a laugh if he thinks that he can get away with that. His performance has been shocking against Valencia. The shot from the edge of the box went through his legs. Against Napoli in the last leg, he got scored from 35 yards, 40 yards from Insigne when he was in a one-on-one. his positioning was terrible in that game. It's not like he got chipped. It was just a low shot into the corner because he wasn't in the right position. If he was just standing in the middle like he should and not way out to the left, then he stops that every day of the week. But instead, the shot goes through, and they Real Madrid concede what could be a crucial goal for Napoli. The away goal in the Champions League is very vital. If you can get an away goal, then that gives you a very, very good opportunity in the next leg. Real Madrid, they need to start off just strong at the back. They can't concede early goals. I think if they play Navas, then they might concede early goals. I think Kiko Casilla this season has been a much better keeper for them. Um, I think that the likes of Morata should start this game. He's been in very good form when he plays. I don't know why Zidane sticks with Benzema over Morata, but what can we do, really? The Real Madrid fans will just keep jumping on Benzema's back until he starts putting in good performances, which he hasn't been doing recently. Now, I think Real Madrid will win the tie. I can't see them losing it. If they do concede 2 goals, then Navas really definitely has to go. Maybe even use him as a make weight for the likes of De Gea to buy him. I know that when Man U sell De Gea, they will need another goalie, so maybe they'll be open to taking Keylor Navas. But that's just a wait and see. Hopefully Real Madrid win the tie. I can't see them losing it because of the 2-goal lead and the likes of Bale and Ronaldo being in the team. But you never know. Real Madrid have been in good form recently. They've lost to Sevilla. They've lost to Valencia. They've lost to... or they tied recently yesterday against Las Palmas. And what a sloppy game that was. Bale with the red card, the stupidest red card I've seen. He hasn't been sent off since 2008 against Stoke, I do believe. But he just lost his head. He started off by clipping the defender's heels for no reason. Then the defender pushes him back. Bale gets aggressive, pushes him to the floor. Red card just like that, sent off. And it's just stupid, really. He comes back from injury and then does something stupid like that. But Real Madrid, he is a very good player, one of the best in the world. So he is a very, very important player to Real Madrid. I do think Real Madrid have enough to win the game. I do think that they will win the game. But it won't be a crazy scoreline. It'll probably be a 1-0, 2-1 for Real, something along the lines. But yeah, next game that we're going to look at is the Juventus-Porto game. Juventus are going into it with a 2-goal lead away from home, I do believe. Like 2 away goals. They are playing in the Juventus Stadium. And I can't see Porto winning this game. Juventus have such a good, solid team defensively and offensively. The likes of Higuain, he's in very, very good form this season. Dybala has been amazing since arriving from Palermo. Then their defense is just solid. Sure, they're missing Bonucci because of the little spat that he had with Allegri, but I just can't see Juventus losing this game. They have a 2-goal lead. Tejas was absolutely dreadful in the reverse fixture, getting sent off with 2 terrible tackles in the first few minutes, and what a miss that was. I think it was Thiago Motta. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was Thiago Motta. They had 2 terrible, stupid tackles from Tejas. Gave Juventus a very, very good chance, and Porto managed to hold out for the majority of the game, but in the end, they had no chance against a very, very strong Juventus team. I can't see Juve losing this game. I can see them winning it. They'll probably win it a 1 or maybe 2-0, but they're going to keep another clean sheet. I think they're going to move on to the quarterfinals, and Porto have no chance. Sorry to say. Next game, Leicester against Sevilla. Now, this is the game that Claudio Ranieri lost his job. I don't know how. He only lost the game 2-1, and that was a very solid Leicester performance. That was like vintage Leicester. It was a very, very solid performance. They played very well. They pressed Sevilla. Sure, in the first half they didn't play well, but they managed to stay in the game. They only went down 1-0 in the first half, 1 or 2-0. Forget when the Sevilla scored the second goal, but yeah, they only went down 1 or 2-0 in the first half, and Jamie Vardy scored a goal to break it 2-1, and 2-1 is actually a decent result in the Champions League. The away goal has a very strong pull in the Champions League. The likes, to counter 1 away goal, you need 2 goals. So I don't know why Leicester sacked Ranieri because of the game, but I guess it has to fall down to the players, really. I guess they did have the mutiny. There's no way to explain it. The likes of Vardy, Mahrez, and Wes Morgan are the players getting the most criticism for it, and I tend to agree with that. Mahrez has been absolutely dreadful this season. Vardy's been nowhere near good enough. He's been looking like a Sunday League player playing in the Premier League, way out of his depth. Only good at running. He hasn't done anything good this season. Slimani started off well, but he's been terrible for the rest of the season. Musa's been garbage since coming to Leicester. It's just not looking good for them. Sure, they won against Liverpool, but I can't see them winning against Sevilla. I think Sevilla have way too much for them. Much better more organized defensively with than Liverpool are. And Sevilla are used to playing the likes of Real Madrid. They played Real Madrid 3 games in 2 weeks. 3 times in 2 weeks, and they got decent results against Real Madrid. And that's Real Madrid. This is Leicester City we're talking about. No offense, but there's no comparison between the two. I don't think Leicester have any chance winning this game. I think that Sevilla will take the win, probably a 1, maybe 2-0. But yeah, I think Leicester are going to get knocked out in the group round and the round of 16. Next game is going to be the Monaco-Manchester City game, and this is going to be in the Monaco Stadium. I don't know what it's called, but Monaco got a very good result against Manchester City. They could have scored more, but Willie made some very good saves. It could have been 5-4, could have been 4-4 really. Monaco did concede some sloppy goals, but normally Monaco are very solid defensively, and the same cannot be said with Manchester City. John Stones has been shaky this season, to say the least. Otamendi, since coming to the Premier League, has been terrible. Claudio Bravo has just been absolutely garbage. He has not performed well whatsoever. And this one could go either way. 3 away goals is a very good tally to have in the Champions League. So I could see Monaco taking the win. But then again, Manchester City are a very, very good side going forward. So you can't rule out Manchester City from scoring a goal. I think this will be another end-to-end game. Manchester City will try to play cagey, but their defense isn't good. So I can see them conceding early. Monaco do need to score early in order to get the win. I can see Monaco win, but it's going to be tough for them. So I'm going to stay safe and say Manchester City are going to move on in the Champions League. But if they don't, then questions are going to be asked to Pep Guardiola, especially if he doesn't qualify for the Champions League next season. It's looking very difficult. His team just aren't performing well. Next game, Atletico Madrid against Bayer Leverkusen. Atletico Madrid normally have a very solid defense. They conceded 2 sloppy goals against Barcelona. I think it was last week. But generally speaking, their defense is very solid with the likes of Jimenez and Diego Godin. So I can't see them giving up a 2-goal lead. I think that they will win the game. The likes of Griezmann, who's been in decent form recently, I think he will get on the score sheet. Torres has been in very good form, so I think that he will help his team get the win. Now, the last game of the Champions League that we will look at is the Dortmund-Benfica. Now, Dortmund had so many chances to score against Benfica, but Aubameyang missing 3 absolute sitters, 1 penalty, and 2 tap-ins, really, that he just missed. And yeah, it was just a terrible game for Dortmund. They created the chances, but they couldn't score them. So Benfica managed to get the win. This one is going to be in the Westfalen Stadium. I think Dortmund will get the win. They probably will score a few goals, and they have very good players in the squad. Now, Benfica, they do have a goal going into it, and Dortmund don't have any away goals, so it will be difficult for Dortmund to get the win. And 1 away goal for Benfica could spell the end for Dortmund. And yeah, I think that Dortmund will go through. For the next round, I'm a Real Madrid fan. I hope that Real Madrid get matched up. If Benfica do go through, then I really hope it's against Benfica. Maybe even Sevilla, Monaco if they go through. Teams I'd like to avoid are Paris at the moment, because they are in very good form. I really, really want to avoid Bayern Munich because they are a very scary team. And Juventus can cause us some problems. And thank you very much for watching. That's going to be it for the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to smack that like button and stay subscribed for some more episodes of football related content. And I will see you guys next time.